Some mysteries refuse to die. A plane disappears without a trace. A hijacker vanishes into the night. A ship is found drifting with no crew. A serial killer taunts the police and escapes. And a book that no one on Earth can read. These are the 5 greatest unsolved mysteries that continue to puzzle the world. Even today. History is filled with secrets that science, investigators, and even modern technology have failed to explain. For decades, experts have searched for answers, but every discovery only creates more questions. Today, we'll count down 5 of the most fascinating unsolved mysteries ever recorded. Stay until the end, because the #1 mystery has baffled the world for nearly a century. Number 5. The Voynich Manuscript. Imagine discovering a book that nobody on Earth can read. Not because it's damaged, not because it's incomplete, but because the language itself appears to be completely unknown. This is the Voynich Manuscript, one of the most mysterious books ever discovered, dating back to the early 15th century. The manuscript contains more than 200 pages filled with strange symbols, unusual diagrams, and illustrations, unlike anything found in other historical texts. Its pages are covered with bizarre plants that don't seem to exist anywhere on Earth, mysterious astronomical charts, and strange drawings that continue to puzzle researchers to this day. For decades, historians, linguists, cryptographers, and code breakers have tried to unlock its secrets. Some of the world's brightest minds have studied the manuscript, hoping to decipher its mysterious language. Even experts who successfully cracked military codes during wartime failed to understand what it says. In recent years, powerful computers and artificial intelligence have also been used to analyze the text. Yet, the mystery remains unsolved. Some researchers believe the manuscript contains hidden scientific or medical knowledge far ahead of its time. Others think it was written in a lost language that has completely disappeared from history. And perhaps the most controversial theory of all is that the entire book is an elaborate hoax created to fool scholars centuries ago. But if that's true, why would someone spend years creating hundreds of pages filled with consistent symbols, detailed illustrations, and complex patterns? After more than a century of research, countless investigations, and advances in modern technology, nobody has been able to definitively explain what the Voynich manuscript says. Its secrets remain locked within its pages, waiting for someone to finally uncover the truth. And if you think an unreadable book is strange, the next mystery involves a man who hijacked an airplane, jumped into the darkness below, and vanished without a trace. Number 4. The disappearance of D.B. Cooper. November 24th, 1971. A calm-looking man wearing a black suit and sunglasses walked into an airport in Portland. He bought a one-way ticket under the name D.B. Cooper. At first, nothing seemed unusual. He boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305, alongside ordinary passengers heading to Seattle. But minutes after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant. At first, she ignored it. Then he leaned closer and quietly said, "You should read that note. I have a bomb." Inside his briefcase were wires, batteries, and sticks of red dynamite. The cabin instantly changed from calm to fear, but Cooper remained strangely relaxed. He ordered bourbon and smoked cigarettes while demanding $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. Authorities obeyed. When the plane landed in Seattle, passengers were released, and Cooper received the money. But the nightmare wasn't over. He ordered the plane back into the sky. Rain hammered the aircraft as it flew through the dark night. Then suddenly, and with a parachute strapped to his back, D.B. Cooper jumped into the darkness below. He was never seen again. No body, no clear evidence, no answers. Only one question remains more than 50 years later. Did D.B. Cooper survive the impossible escape? Or did the night swallow him forever? To this day, the mystery of D.B. Cooper, the freezing wind roared through the cabin, remains one of the greatest unsolved disappearances in history. Number 3. The Mary Celeste. Imagine you're sailing across the cold Atlantic Ocean. The sea is calm. The wind is steady. Then, on the horizon, you spot a ship drifting aimlessly. As your crew pulls alongside, something feels wrong. No one is standing on deck. No voices echo across the water. Only silence. You climb aboard. Everything appears almost perfectly normal. The cargo is untouched. Food and fresh drinking water are still stocked. The crew's personal belongings are exactly where they were left. The captain's cabin is neatly arranged. But there's one terrifying mystery. Not a single person is on board. In 1872, this was the chilling reality of the Mary Celeste, a merchant ship found abandoned in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The captain, his wife, their young daughter, and every crew member had vanished without leaving a single clear clue. There were no signs of a fight, no blood, no bodies, no evidence of piracy. Even the lifeboat was missing, suggesting the crew left the ship willingly. But why would experienced sailors abandon a vessel that was still perfectly capable of sailing? Over the next century, countless theories emerged. Some believed they feared an explosion caused by leaking alcohol cargo. Others blamed a violent rogue wave, a mutiny, or even the supernatural. Yet every explanation leaves unanswered questions. No one knows where the crew went. No one knows why they abandoned the ship. And no one has ever found them. More than 150 years later, the Mary Celeste remains one of the greatest unsolved maritime mysteries in history. Some secrets are buried beneath the ocean. Number 2. The Zodiac Killer. Imagine living in a quiet neighborhood where every sunset brings a new sense of fear. You lock your doors. You avoid empty roads. And every strange sound outside makes your heart race. Because somewhere in the darkness, a killer could be watching. In the late 1960s, that nightmare became reality across Northern California. A mysterious murderer began attacking seemingly ordinary people with no clear pattern. But what made him truly different wasn't just the crimes. It was what happened afterward. Instead of disappearing into the shadows, the killer wanted attention. He gave himself a name, the Zodiac. Soon, newspapers began receiving chilling letters signed with a strange crosshair symbol. Inside were disturbing confessions, cryptic messages, and complex ciphers. The Zodiac claimed that hidden within those codes was his true identity. He even threatened that if his letters were not published, he would continue killing. The messages terrified the public. Police, cryptographers, and ordinary citizens all raced to crack the codes. Some were eventually solved, but instead of revealing his name, they delivered even more unsettling messages. Several ciphers remain unsolved to this day, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. As the years passed, detectives followed hundreds of leads. Dozens of suspects were investigated. Fingerprints were examined. Handwriting was analyzed. And later, DNA evidence was tested using modern forensic technology. Every promising lead seemed to bring investigators closer to the truth, only to end in another dead end. More than half a century has passed. The Zodiac Killer's confirmed identity has never been established. Whether he escaped justice, died without anyone knowing, or left behind clues that have yet to be understood, no one can say for certain. What began as a series of murders became one of the greatest criminal mysteries in history. And somewhere, hidden behind forgotten evidence, faded letters, or an unsolved code, the Zodiac's greatest secret may still be waiting to be uncovered. Number 1. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Imagine standing on the runway in 1937, watching an airplane disappear into the morning sky. The crowd cheers, cameras flash. No one realizes they are witnessing the beginning of one of history's greatest mysteries. The pilot is Amelia Earhart, a woman who refused to accept limits. She had already become the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, proving that courage could overcome barriers many believed impossible. But Earhart wasn't finished making history. She set her sights on an even greater challenge, flying around the world. It would be one of the longest and most dangerous flights ever attempted. Together with her experienced navigator, Fred Noonan, she crossed continents, oceans, and thousands of miles of unforgiving wilderness. For weeks, everything seemed to be going according to plan. Then came July 2nd, 1937. Their aircraft approached the tiny Howland Island, a remote speck of land in the vast Pacific Ocean, finding it would require extraordinary precision. As the flight continued, radio messages became increasingly desperate. Earhart reported that clouds and poor visibility were making navigation difficult. She told nearby operators that fuel was running dangerously low. One final message echoed through the radio. "We are on the line then." Silence. The transmission ended, and Amelia Earhart vanished. The United States launched one of the largest search operations of its time. Naval ships scanned the endless Pacific. Military aircraft searched thousands of square miles of open ocean. The mission cost millions of dollars and lasted for weeks. Yet not a single confirmed piece of her aircraft was found. With no answers, theories began to spread. Many historians believe Earhart simply ran out of fuel and crashed into the Pacific Ocean. Others suggest she managed to land on a remote island, where she and Fred Noonan struggled to survive. Some even believe she lived for years under a different identity. Despite decades of expeditions, satellite imagery, underwater robots, sonar mapping, and modern forensic investigations, no theory has ever been proven beyond doubt. Nearly 90 years later, remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Did the Pacific Ocean bury the truth forever? Or is her aircraft still waiting to be discovered beneath its endless blue waters? Until that day comes. The final chapter of Amelia Earhart's remarkable journey remains unwritten. Thanks for watching. If this story sparked your curiosity, subscribe to Decker Quest for more incredible mysteries, hidden history, and amazing discoveries. See you in the next quest.